Once you see the movie, you're kind of like, okay, this is what happens.
Sure.
And, blah, blah, blah. It's all awesome. It's a great movie. Don't get me wrong. But the trailer was really like wide open. And it was a lot of that vibe that I wanted, that I was searching for when I was making this movie.
Zach, it's all led here. Rebel Moon is finally here. I loved it. Absolutely fantastic. The look of Rebel Moon reminds me of the old school heavy metal magazines.
That's correct.
What inspired and influenced that feel and look?
Of course, you can't really put like an exact aesthetic on it, right? Because it's kind of a mix of like Mobius and some Franzetta and all this weirdness. And it ends up like really what I just tried to do with it is just say, okay, like from an aesthetic standpoint, I just really wanted to have this just slight retro kind of sci-fi, but not, it's weird. Like I'm really happy with the way kind of the final tone of it, but it was really hard to get to because it just took a lot of me just going, yes, no, without any real hard, like piece of reference where we could say, make it look like that,
right.
So, but I'm really happy. And I'm glad you saw it that way because that's what we went for.
It's fantastic. Now, I know Star Wars was an inspiration for Rebel Moon. What elements of Star Wars were you most interested in exploring?
I guess it's like, because the sort of 11-year-old me fell in love with Star Wars. And then like, as you grow up, I've been talking a lot about like sort of 77 to 87, that range of movies, that kind of 10-year window that for me was really influential, because all of us from when you're like 11 years old to when you're like a sophomore in college, that's kind of your sweet spot where you get shaped.
Sure.
And so I think that though Star Wars was like this thing that sort of jump started the whole thing, it was really that mosaic of movies during that window that kind of shaped what this kind of is. And so I think that the thing I was trying to chase with Star Wars was that kind of like when you saw the trailer for Empire Strikes Back, I remember when I saw it, I was like, whatever I was, 12, 13 years old. I remember thinking that like anything's possible. The trailer, especially, once you see the movie, you're kind of like, okay, this is what happens.
Sure.
And, blah, blah, blah. It's all awesome. It's a great movie. Don't get me wrong. But the trailer was really like wide open. And it was a lot of that vibe that I wanted, that I was searching for when I was making this movie.
Now, from the marketing material, fans are loving these laser swords, those lightsaber-like laser swords.
Sure.
Can we expect more of those type of weapons and in different colors for part 2?
Okay, so basically the way our philosophy for what you see in the swords is that the swords are made of this thing, the special kind of oracle steel, we call it, right? And what happens is, like Nemesis's gauntlets they're powered up and they almost become like molten metal. Uh-huh. And so the light and heat signature that you see is really just this superheated metal that, if you can imagine if you have like a piece of superheated metal and you put it on the ground or put it against, it'll cut through stuff. So that was our sort of philosophy for it because, we thought like, we can't really do like some sort of like laser thing because like someone's already done that pretty well. But we tried, even though maybe visually that's what you get, when you do the deep dive, we spent a lot of time trying to like figure out how to make this a thing. And, so far we have blue and orange, so I don't know. There's more to come probably.
Oh, nice. Now, I love the character Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony Hopkins is brilliant in the role. What attracted Anthony to the role, and what can we expect from Jimmy in part 2?
Yeah, and also I'll just quickly say that in the director's cut, there's a bit more of Jimmy, you can imagine. But yeah, I was talking about, I think that Anthony, when we talked about it, he just seemed to be really interested in, sort of exploring the humanity of a robot. I think that caused him, when I pitched it to him, that's kind of what I said. That's kind of what you would be doing. And he was, oh, that's a cool amount. Yeah, that's, wow. Okay. What is that? Like, and so I think that got his gears turning. And then in part 2, of course, it's a pretty, I don't think I'm going to be giving too much away by saying that like, there's a chance that there's more conflict coming. And so, I think that Jimmy's role as kind of, he has to make a choice about, how much will he really stand up for the villagers, you know, so it's like
I cannot wait, man. I'm so happy I got to see this on the big screen, though. It's beautiful.
That's kind.
Thank you so much, Zach.
Awesome.
I appreciate you,
Good
brother.
to see you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.